Once I asked a question in a Digimon group on Facebook. I thought it was straightforward and that the answer would be straightforward, but apparently not. Before I get to the question, let me explain something just in case you aren't familiar with Digimon Adventure or the American or Japanese releases. If you speak English, you're probably more familiar with this version of what Digimon say when they change form.
Agumon, Digivolve, no? Greymon!
In the Japanese versions of Digimon though, they say something else.
Agumon Shinka! Greymon!
This word, Shinka, literally means evolution. So what Agumon says here is, Agumon Evolution, Greymon. So with that in mind, and the fact that I am not only a bit of a Digimon nerd but a language nerd, this is what I asked in that Digimon group. In the same universe as the Japanese versions of the anime where they say, Agumon Shinka, what do you think English-speaking Digimon would say when evolving? You think they would still say Shinka, or would they say evolve or evolution? My headcanon has been that they'd say evolution, Agumon Evolution, Greymon. As I said, I thought this was going to be straightforward, but the answers I got from quite a few people is that they are the same universe. Digivolve 2. That's literally what they say in the same universe in English. You've made it clear that you believe that the dub and sub are separate universes, but as everyone has said, they are not. The thing to remember is that when Digimon came out in 1999, the English-speaking countries had 4Kids TV, which heavily censored shows. We didn't even get several episodes of Pokemon just for showing a gun. So, for example, when we see Ash and his 20 Tauros, we are all confused when he caught them because that episode was banned because Ash had a gun pulled on him. It's still the same universe. Where you live or how you viewed it depended solely on how censored it was. I suppose this is going into philosophical, if not literary, theory territory, but the differences between the two versions, American and Japanese, of Digimon Adventure are incompatible in my mind. The characters have different names, for example, Taichi and Yamato versus Tai and Matt. And then there are the fact that when the chosen children are hitchhiking in one episode, they get in a stranger's car in the Japanese version and Sora's cousin's car in the American version. And there are more differences too, so to me, they cannot take place in the same universe. The universes are similar, related even, but different. This of course shows up in other anime too. In Yu-Gi-Oh for example, Malik has an adoptive brother named Rashid and wants to get revenge on the nameless pharaoh because he believes the pharaoh killed his father. In the American version, Marik's adoptive brother is named Odeon, and Marik wants to claim the Millennium Puzzle so that he can become pharaoh himself. And one of my favorite, and probably one of the most well-known examples, is the question of whether or not sailors Neptune and Uranus are cousins or in a romantic relationship. And this issue is even more complicated when you add the fact that a lot of anime are adaptations of manga. So I understand the concept of localization and censorship. When Western studios get the rights to these anime, they make decisions they think will make the products more palatable to this new audience. But these changes, to me, make the stories different. Characters' motivations and backstories differ between these stories, and even plot points differ. So, to me, they can't be the same universe, but two different universes. But this question is not just relevant to Japanese anime versus Western adaptations. It's relevant to the art form of storytelling itself. As stories are told and retold, they change over time. Some of the changes are small, some of them are big. If you study mythology, folk tales, and fairy tales, you inevitably happen upon the word version, letting you know that there is not just one and has not been just one single telling of these stories, even after they have been written down. We have a culture of definitive canon in today's world, a culture that I think makes study of stories boring. Take for example the question of whether or not Jesus carried his own cross as he was led to be crucified. The Synoptic Gospels, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, say a man named Simon of Cyrene carried it for him. John, on the other hand, says that Jesus carried it himself. What is true? What is canon? If we try to harmonize these into one single story, we lose what the authors were trying to say. What does the author of John say about Jesus with this change? So in the end, I don't really have an answer to the question I asked in the group. In the Japanese version of Digimon Adventure 02, there's a Spanish-speaking chosen child named Chichos, whose Gotsumon evolves and says something different from the Japanese-speaking Digimon. But we don't see any English-speaking chosen children evolve, unless you count Wallace from Digimon Adventure 02, Digimon Hurricane Touchdown. His Terriermon says the same thing as the Japanese-speaking Digimon when he evolves, but I don't know if the movie counts as, well, canon. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this though. Do you see Western adaptations of anime to be taking place within the same universe? Let me know in the comments. Ivan Kenkwame, and I'll see you next time.